David and Goliath, a story from the Bible. Down in the village, in the valley where David watched the sheep, people were waking up. After breakfast, the children went running through the hills and to the rock where David sat, and they sang, "Little David, play on your harp. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Little David, play on your harp. Hallelujah." And David picked up his harp and started playing. And the music filled the valley. The music filled the valley. People stopped what they were doing to hear it, to listen, to take it in. The sheep listened and munched and listened and walked. And David played and watched, watching the sheep, making sure they are all so safe. Oh, a little too close to that stream, little sheep. David had to stop to pick up his sling, that leather with a little pocket in it, and the rocks he always kept nearby, and he put one into the sling, and 1, 2, 3, zoop, and into the stream, splash, and the sheep moves back. The sheep is safe, and David can go back to his music. Back to his music he's playing. People listen, sheep listen, and David plays. Oh! Is that a lion? A wolf lion? Oh, better stop playing. Pick up the sling, pick up a rock. 1, 2, 3, boom! There it goes. It runs away. Sheep are safe, I can play again. And David didn't just play music. He made up songs. A whole book in the Bible called Psalms are the words of all many of the songs he wrote. And what were his songs about? Everything. Everything in his mind, on his mind, in his heart. Things he loved, and how he felt protected by the love of God, the loving care. Whatever happened, and he played his music, and the village was a peaceful place. And what a beautiful story that is, what a beautiful story that is. But over the hill, there's another village of arguing people. Arguing about this, arguing about that, arguing about this, arguing about that. Everything, anything they could argue about. Every so often when you're arguing, you still have to take a breath, and they'd take a breath in. David's music would come over the hills, and they heard it, but it didn't stop their arguing. You, no, hey, what do you mean? You might think they could feel that peace, but no. And one day, one of them stood up. The great giant, Goliath, 9 feet tall. And Goliath said, "I'll stop that music. I'll stop that music maker. I'll stop that music once and for all." And Goliath started stomping up the side of the hill. dear David went running into the village. And everybody in the village ran into their homes and slammed their doors, slammed their doors, slammed their doors, and looked out their windows. And Goliath comes down, down, down the other side of the hill into the village looking. Where's that music maker? Who's that music maker? Where's that music maker? And David's up in the hills. David knows something's wrong. He can always feel it. He can always feel it. And just like when his sheep were in danger, he set down his harp and he walked down the hill and into the village. All the doors were closed. All the doors were closed. And he saw a shadow, and he followed that shadow, and he saw the feet of Goliath. And he looked up, oh. And Goliath looked down, 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 oh. And Goliath said, "Let's fight." And David said, "Let's talk. Let's talk. We can talk. Let's fight. Let's fight. We can talk. We can talk. Let's fight. Let's fight. We can talk. We can talk. Let's fight. Let's fight. We can talk about it. We can talk about it." This was already more talk than Goliath liked to do. And Goliath raised his great big hand and made it into a fist high above his head. And it came down, down towards David. And David looked up into the hills. There's a song he was working on about how he felt when he looked into the hills and his help would come from the love of God. And the light of the sun shone down on a rock at his feet. And he picked up that rock and he put it in his sling and he swung it around 1, 2, 3 times and let it go. And there goes that rock and hits Goliath in the center of his forehead. And Goliath goes tumbling, 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 tumbling down, down, down. And that was the end of Goliath. And the people in the village came running out and looked at Goliath and said, "Who saved us?" "It was David. It was David with his sling and his rock." "But where did he go? We must thank him." And the children said, "Follow us. Follow us." So they all followed the children up through the hills and to that rock where David sat. And they sang to David, "Little David, play on your harp. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Little David, play on your harp. Hallelujah." And David picked up his harp and started playing. And his beautiful music filled that valley again with peace and filled their hearts. And that's the story of David and Goliath.